Anyway, I am going to give you a very short demonstration of Star Story Episode 2, The Virus Strikes Back. It's not much at this specific point, the game is still being developed. Most of the features don't even work at all at this particular point of production. Yet I can still already show you something. Like this text, Episode 2, The Virus Strikes Back. Peace game after Vendika Lovejoy and Crystal McQueen fought the goddess. Now 3 years later, Vendika has become a mother and a meteor representative for Admiral Ashley Johnson. However, as Ashley Johnson is past 80 years old now, she feels her time has come to retire. But not before telling Vendika the story of how her career began as the bodyguard of virologist Gavita Clary. Let's just start a new game. Well, these are the 3 difficulty settings. I must say you cannot change them afterward. That is for very good reasons in most games. It's only that the enemies are stronger or weaker. But in this game, entire rules will even be changed based on the chosen difficulty. And as you can see by hovering over the choice, you can see some parameters that change in the rules. When you pick the difficulty. Which language do you desire for this scenario? Well, of course, Dutch and English. Dutch is my native language, but for this video I will do everything entirely in English, including the scenario. This only counts for the scenario if you choose the Dutch language, or maybe even some other translations that might pop up over the years. Who knows? System texts like save game, blah 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 blah, that will be in English, names of items and spells, blah 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 blah. As far as you can speak of spells in a sci-fi game, however, doesn't matter. Anyway, that will always be in English, only the scenario will be translated. Very good, your adventure is about to begin, have fun. Okay, now the game is about to begin. As you know, this is an RPG game, a bit in the Japanese style, or at least that is the basics that I used. So it is story based, so we will begin with a bit of opening scenario. I hope you like my door. You will see it closing and opening quite a lot. Same to you, Vendika. I was hoping to see little Sharon too. Is she on board? Jarl and Crystal took her away to my biological father on Nizozemska, while I took Sue to show her space. Although Marlon is still wanted by the IF, I was able to get at least a visa for her. Sue? You mean your biological twin sister, Susan? Yep. And she enjoys our trip so far. You've never met her, have you? If you want, I can call her. I warn you, she's a bit of an overexcited type. Sure, I don't mind overexcited types. You haven't met me when I was younger than you are now. Oh, hello, a visitor. My name is Susan, but you can call me Sue. How nice to meet you, Sue. My name is Ashley Johnson, Vendika's commanding officer. because I never met your husband. What? Don't tell me that you never knew you worked for him 1 full year until the Astrolopoops invaded Excalibur? What? You mean to say that Brugman is your husband? Yes, Helmut Brugman, just retired Chief of Engineering in Excalibur, is my husband. And that's also why I talked him out of getting you for stealing that titanium bolt to repair Crystal's bionic arm the day of the Astrolapoop attack. How did he find out about that? Easy. He was the one who checked Crystal's bionic implants every month. And since he recognized the 453IF prefix in the serial number imprinted on every part in the closet of engineering, if that bolt came there with authorization, he would know about it. If you picked cheaper materials, he might never have been the wiser. But titanium was a material that was used for as little as possible, so it was kind of obvious. So I have a thief for a sister. Oh, shut it. Hey, I love stories. Would you mind telling us about your first mission, Admiral? It's hard to imagine you as an 18 years old girl. Well, I've got the time, so why not? I've been thinking about that mission a lot. I was a bodyguard, and I had to guard the virologist who stopped what would have become the biggest medical scam in the history of the IF. Wait a minute. You were the bodyguard of Gavidi Clary? He would have taken that pronunciation as an insult, Vendika. I'm disappointed that you, with your degree in several alien languages, pronounced your name like that. It's Ga with the A, like in not okay English. Vida, again with the same kind of A. Kla, same kind of A. And the last syllable pronounced as the English word for pray, but you need to roll the R a little. Gavida Clare. Yes, I got it together with her assistant in New York and Dr. Salvatrita. That wasn't easy, as we were hunted down like wild beasts. Sometimes I think they wanted me for the job, hoping I'd die. It appears that my former teachers at the academy had never forgiven me to pass my exams summa cum laude after I made their lives so miserable. What? You were really an insufferable brat like that when you were young? Definitely. Well, where should I begin? Yorno had just fetched Claret at the Hyperloop station in the artificial world state of Moab, where this entire scam took place. And then the true story will begin. Hello, Claret, you made it! Well, about time too. This might have been one of my longest Hyperloop journeys. I did try to get some sleep, but those Hyperloop cards are not that comfortable. Oh, come on, don't exaggerate. It can't have been that long. Moab is not as big as a real planet. It's only a disk of 2,500 kilometers in diameter. Radius, not diameter. Details. Anyway, what I wanted to ask, we've discussed that a lot of time already. The answer still remains no. Now don't get so grumpy, Claret. I've already come to terms with that. I only wanted to inform you about the samples. Not here, You know this job is classified and that I must take care. That's why Dr. Salvatrita insisted on it that I get a bodyguard once I arrived here. Not that I think it would be a good idea. A bodyguard for Meteor would only draw attention. So they said the guard would be in casual clothing, not a uniform. Hopefully that doesn't draw too much attention. A bodyguard. I wasn't aware of that. Do you have the name of that bodyguard? Well, she is said to live close by, a human girl. I've seen her during her training. Actually, she didn't bodyguard training a few times, where I had to play the person to be protected. She did a pretty good job. She actually might get pretty far in her career now that she's graduated. Do you know her name and address? Well, I need to look up the exact address, but her name is Ashley Johnson. Ashley Johnson? Is she really your bodyguard? What's so funny about that? Well, perhaps you don't know her as well as I do, Claret. That girl is a total disaster. I'm not sure how she passed her exams, but that must be by cheating or something like that. I've heard she now lives in the slums, and they are indeed very close by. If it's attention you don't want though, right, stay away from her. You can't be serious. Are we really speaking of the same girl? I definitely think so. But then again, Johnson appears to be a very common family name among humans. Always a bit confusing that last. Anyway, is he seem lovely? Yeah, I guess so. I really hope you're wrong though. Met Salpetrita demanded a bodyguard. I even asked for her. Oh, you're kidding. Well, I guess I think I better get on the road. Once we fetched Ashley, it's still a long way to Salpetrita's laboratory. At least we agree on that one. Okay, and now the game has started. In order to go somewhere, just click on the spot you want to go and Claret will walk to it. And Jorno will just follow. You don't have to worry about obstacles, as I created a Pathfinder routine based on Dijkstra. And that ensures that whenever there's an obstacle, you will always try to find a way around it if it is possible. Yeah. You don't mind me advertising myself a bit, huh? Well, let's leave the Hyperloop station and go to the first dungeon. The slums. What a mess! Don't tell me people actually live along all this junk. They sure do, Claret. I suppose you've never seen the dark side of WoWF, have you? Well, I know that many young ones come here with nothing but a dream. WoWF sends out stories all over the IF of how people who had nothing became filthy, stinking rich here. However, I've also heard many times that only a few see their dreams come true. And those who do not make it quite often end up here. Nobody owes that success to themselves, Claret. It's always the question how much success others give you. And those who are unable to convince the elitists often end up here, after having spent all their money to make the trip and trying to make a name for themselves. It's technically a dump. People who failed came here hoping to find food leftovers between the waste, and quite often they are successful as those rich idiots are not really frugal. Actually, they dump more food than they can actually eat. And the materials here can sometimes be used for shelter. You really sound like a conspiracy theorist now. I didn't believe it myself until I actually had to be here before, taking some samples for a big bacteria investigation. These places are not the places where people live long. I could actually end up in this place. She didn't end up here. She chose to live here. She said it would save her a lot of money. And she said she didn't care about all the junk and the smell here. You're armed, aren't you? These places are often full of rats and other kinds of unfriendly creatures. Not to mention, people who won't back out from stealing everything you have, and even strip you naked in order to get useful material. I've been trained in the use of many kinds of guns, and I got some with me. However, you know it's illegal to use them outside the shooting range. The law has little meaning here in the slums, Claret. All that counts here is the law of the jungle. Eat or be eaten. The latter sometimes even literally. So you'd better be prepared to fight. And I warn you, those dummies in the booth won't fight back, but your opponents here will. Well, those brown little bags are random treasures. And just by walking to them, you can pick them up. You may see that little meter here. That is the instant random encounter meter. There are 5 random encounters that you can fight here, and the more the pointer points to red, the more likely you'll be to run into an encounter just by walking. The first one can mostly be walked through without triggering one. Well, I won't recite the entire scenario here, as this is more kind of tutorial. These pads are used in the game as safe spots. They can also contain a playing hint. And later in the game, when you have the central point that you will always return to between missions, these pads can transport you over there quickly, which so they are actually very extremely important. Very well, let's step on the pad. And let's just save the game. Well, these are save game files that I used in the development. Let's just create a new page. Just by pressing backspace I can remove that page 005 and demonstration video. You can just type that on the keyboard. And let's pick a slot, saving, and let's move on. Yeah, you can also click someone who is in the field and then they will just tell you something. Well, this room is that big that you will always run into unfriendly creatures. Loading. The first time you get into combat after starting the game, save game by starting a new game,
Claret.
then the entire combat routine has to be loaded. That was that red progress bar you saw. After that it will remain in the memory, so later fights will load a lot quicker. Well, the only feature in the combat menu that currently works is the shoot command. The rest is not yet available. In Dutch we often say Rome is ook niet in één dag gebouwd, which roughly translates to Rome isn't built in one day either. Above is the turn bar, this turn-based combat, and it shows the order A means the enemy, and when there are more enemies there will be B, C, D, etc, etc. dungeon, the enemies are now very extremely easy, but I guess it's only natural that as you get further on in the game, they will get harder. Yeah, in this room you see the bonus system. The signal showing red really shows that you do not fill the requirements yet to get these two barriers open and claim the prize that is beyond them. You must have the central point of the game unlocked before the signals will show anything else but red. If they show amber, then it means that you are close to fitting the requirements, but the barriers will still be closed. And when it shows green, then you fill the requirements and the barriers will open. The same thing will actually now be explained by the game itself with a small bit of scenario. According to rumors, they are placed by a secret underground organization rebelling against the corruption that appears to have gone deep into the government of the IF and all its member planets. The corruption comes, according to them, from this very artificial world, WoWF, which appears to have a secret forum where the leaders are being corrupted. In other words, these things are placed here by conspiracy thinkers. Now that they believe all that crap is something I can understand, but why placing these traffic light things? They say the underground rebel organization has created many secret passages with stuff their associates need in their travels. However, as they want to make sure how dedicated you are to their cause, they've installed systems which only open up if certain requirements are met. Achievements you made in other games of mine can sometimes also affect how these signals respond to you. Does not count for all of them, but there are quite a lot in which that will do. I have a system in mind which can tell you which requirement is needed for the sheet. That tool is also not scripted yet. Yeah, here you see 3 signals. These 2 only lead to a bonus, and this one would lead to a shortcut, so you would immediately end up at the exit. But as the door is closed right now,
Klarhei.
You will notice that the experience bar, that is the white bar, these status screens, will go up every time you kill an enemy, or if you enter a place that you have never been in before. And of course, if the bar is full, will go a level up and the characters will get stronger. What you may also have noticed is that the battle music in random encounters is not the same in which mostly is in these kind of games. I did it on purpose because the combat tune is mostly the most hated tune of the game because you hear it too much. And I have just 3 different tunes for random encounters. And the computer picks one randomly. This in order to prevent you from getting a bit bored out by them. Yeah, you see a bit of graphics overlapping in a way that shouldn't happen that way. That is something I still need to fix. So, don't be alarmed by that. A little nice cosmetic thing is that the metal background is never completely the same. The computer really tries to generate a bit of a different composition of the junk in the background. I call this the dynamic arena system. I also use that in the Secrets of Dirt, the .NET version. And I only thought of using it again, it was easy to create anyway, and it's most automatically only for the better.
No.
You may have seen in some maps where level 1 and others where level 2, yes, enemies can also have their own experience levels, and of course the higher the level, the stronger they are. Because at this point in the game it won't matter too much. But later in the game it will. Laser guns is not yet being consumed. That is simply because that part is also not yet coded. I did that on purpose in order to save myself some headaches at this point, as reloading has also not yet been coded. If you look well at the way I designed the maps, I use the Cthulhu map system as I currently do for my RPG games. And although a 32 by 32 pixel grid can be used, I did take the opportunity to, like you can see here, to switch around a bit and with the junk in the areas here, you can also see that a bit. Well, currently there are only rats here. May be possible that in the full game there might be a few more enemies here.
Clay.
And of course, when you get further in the game, you will also have more kinds of enemies.
No.
Okay, another save game. And this is where the first dungeon will end. And I will show you the scenario. Who cares? This is the place, I think. This should be where Ashley lives. You can't be serious. This is the personal exit. you can find a canteen and other kind of rooms which are quite suitable for living. Some inhabitants of the slum are very eager to squat them. If you say so. I guess we should try if she's home then. Yes, good day, sir. I am Miss Gavida, and this is my assistant, Mr. Berindo. We have been informed that Miss Johnson would be living here. If that's so, could you please grant us words with her? Her name is Ashley. Can we speak with Ashley? I think that means yes, Claret. How can you tell? That last sort sounded a bit more short. Snort. I think he wants us to enter. Let's go. I didn't expect you to find like this. Like what? Living in a dump, dressed in a rather vulgar way, listening to horrible noise that is supposed to be music? Well, I guess you finally see the real Ashley Johnson. Hey, Jorno! Are you really Claret's assistant? Does she really have a use for a rimpy, nerdy sucker like you? I guess I have to take that as a compliment. I guess you still haven't changed. I hate to admit it, Jorno, but she's right about that one. I wanted the same thing myself over and over. Thanks, Claret. Anyway, I was supposed to be your bodyguard and to guide you to Cel's lab. Shall we go? Cel? Dr. Salpetrita doesn't mind people who are on friendly terms with them to call him Sal, Jorno. Are you really going with us like that? What's the problem? I had to come to you plain-clothed, to you in order not to draw too much attention. Not to draw too much attention? You look like a whore? Nearly all perverted-minded men will look at you, and you believe you won't draw much attention? Doesn't really matter, Claret. Only men who are really desperate will do that. But then again, they will look at any woman anyway. Hey, touché! I'm beginning to like ya, Jorno. Perhaps you're not such a wimp after all. Anyway, let's get out of here. We can best go through Muerte Alley. That would definitely be the shortest route, but not the safest. The place is swamped with monsters and criminals. Hey, that's why I'm your bodyguard, Jorno. Leave everything to me, I will protect you too. And Claret knows how good I am in the field of protection. Well, at least we agree on that one. Alright, let's go. And from this point, Ashley will join the party. And basically, most of the stuff I did ends here. Wow, the shortest route to Cel's lab is through Muerte Alley. Did you see that closed barricade a bit eastward? Don't worry, I can open it. And here the tutorial of putting people in the lead. Let's first make a save game. And like the game suggests, only Ashley can open this gate, so when I try this with Claret, she won't do it. I have no idea how Ashley is going to open this gate, but she told me to leave it to her, so perhaps I should. Of course, I can also the lead. Everybody follows him now. He won't be able to do it either. So Ashley thinks she can open this, huh? Well, she does look like the type of girl who would make a very good burglar. Well, then let's have Ashley to do it. Hold on, everybody. This should be John and the Jiffy. Ta-da! Hold on. Did you just pick that lock with a hairpin? Is that what they call these things? Stupid name for something to pick locks with. That's because picking locks was never their intended function. They were primarily invented to stick in your hair to make sure they stay in it